there, friends. Welcome back to My Crafty Space. My name is Crystal Idunyate, and today I am going to be working in my Week in the Life journal for 2022. The journal is how I have decided to document this entire project. And throughout the course of the week, I went ahead and did all of my journaling and a lot of my stamping as well. So I can flip through the first day, which I did in a live video over on the Allie Edwards Craft the Story Facebook group. So if you want to see the intro page and all of my Monday pages come together, you can check out the full replay over in that Facebook group. And I also have a quick flip through available on my Instagram as well. So I started with a family photo here and added the This Week vellum piece, which I just trimmed into a circle using a circle punch. And then every day is going to flow the same, as you will see once we start working on the Tuesday pages today. The daily title page in the notebook came with just the word in white with a color background. I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to create a mind map of my day or a visual representation of my day using stamps from my stash. So every day I already have my mind maps completed. You can see a super quick sped up minute-and-a-half reel of me putting together each of these weekly pages, each of these daily pages over on my Instagram account. So the videos are there for all the days for you to see. So these are going to already be done. I did use some Tombow brush pens in order to color in some of the stamps. They did fairly well coloring over the color paper. Some days are going to be better than others, but in general, I really like the way that it turned out. Also, in terms of the stamps in my stash that I am using, they come from a very wide array of manufacturers, anywhere from Allie Edwards Design Ink to Paper Person Shop, Feed Your Craft, which is a shop that's unfortunately no longer in business, but I do have quite a stash of Feed Your Craft stamps. Also, Everyday Explorers, Studio Calico, and I'm sure I'm missing some in there too, but I believe I hit on all of the big ones. I'm pretty sure. So that's where the majority of my stamps come from. For the hourly days, I have these set up where I just jotted down a little bit about what happened during that part of the day. So just a sentence or two, depending on how much I had going on. Then we move into the gratitudes and the feelings. So I already have pre-stamped the 1 through 3, and I pre-stamped out 3 words that represented the bigger feelings I had on that particular day. Underneath the stamped sections, I added in a little bit more journaling, and then I'm pairing this with a full page photo that has a transparency flip out. So the full page photo can be seen when you move the transparency to the side. And the transparency has the gold foil day and the black, or one of those little black word phrase strips as well. Love the way that the black pairs down on the gold a little bit. The next page in the notebook has these little sections that you can fill out with all of the ing words. So loving, watching, listening, eating, working, driving, cleaning, reading, dreaming, worrying, struggling, and playing. So there are in total 12 little boxes to fill out. For these, I added just a little bit of context throughout the day that corresponded to the ing word. Sometimes it was very literal in the sense of watching a specific show. Other times I was not so literal in terms of like watching my kids play outside, something that's still related to the word watching, but that wasn't necessarily TV related. To pair with that page, I used one of the layer templates from this year's collection that had 12 little boxes. I deleted out one box in the middle so I could add in the vellum heart here. I believe that was part of the vellum pack that was an add-on for the kit. And I've also added a QR code in the bottom right-hand corner. This QR code links to a video that I created with little clips for that particular day. So every day I have it's usually around 1.5 minutes-ish amounts of video footage from that day, just catching little snippets here and there. The next page in the notebook is what I want to remember. For this one, I'm using the exact same layout for every single day, which is 1 large photo on the left and 4 smaller photos on the right. On top of the photos, I have some labels here where I've handwritten in some gratitudes or things that I wanted to remember about that particular moment that I had captured. I may eventually go back in here and add an asterisk sticker. Those are dimensional though, so I'm waiting until I have the album finished before I go back and see if that's, an additional amount of dimension that I want to add. We'll see if I do or if I don't. The next page here was totally blank, so I took a little creative liberty to add some of the journaling cards from the main kit and some more photos. I'm a big fan of full page photos, so you'll see a lot of those throughout my album. And on this side, I have a picture of the kids in the bathtub watching a video from when my daughter was around the age of my son now. And then I'm adding on another one of the little vellum hearts with a tiny phrase sticker over top. For the journaling cards, one of them is just a filler card for no other purpose other than to just be a rest from words and my own handwritten words and photos, just a rest. For the 4x6 card, this had a grid on it. So what I decided to do was to grab some pieces of life from each day, trim them down into roughly 1.875 by 1.875, or maybe even 1.75 by 1.75, something in there. Trim them down to that. And then I added one into each square that was blank to represent some of the different things of the day. So like, for example, on Monday, I've got a piece of an interview sheet from an interview that I conducted. I have a piece of wallpaper because I wallpapered a wall in our bathroom that day. I have a piece of vellum that I had practiced hand lettering on. I have a piece of a beer box and a piece of on the border tortilla chips because we hosted dinner that night for family. So just little bits and pieces that represented our day. And then the very last page was also blank for the day. For this one, I had purchased the large plastic phrases, and I picked one for each day of the week to act as a jumping off point or a prompt for my journaling for that day. So this one says loving, and I paired it with this loved this moment. I stamped out 1 through 5 and then wrote out 5 different things that I loved about this particular day. Paired that again with another full page photo, added on a fabric sticker, which is from a previous year of week in the life, and then called Monday Done. So that brings us to where we are for today. Today I'm going to be putting together Tuesday in this notebook. A lot of it is going to be pretty repetitive day to day, but in the voiceover, because I will speed you up, I'll talk a little bit about the stories that or the moments that happened throughout the day, why I chose the different photos that I chose, some of my decision making, and then also the process that I'm going through to put these pages together. So I already have my mind map completed. Again, those are located over on my Instagram account, and I will provide a link to the Monday mind map, the Monday flip through, and I will also provide a link to the Tuesday mind map in my description box below. So if you want to go see those pages specifically, you can find them pretty quickly that way. So we'll go ahead and put you on fast forward while I get all of these layouts for Tuesday completed. And then I will slow back down at the end to wrap us up with any last thoughts before we say goodbye for today. So let's go ahead and dive into this project. All right, so jumping into the project for today, first what you're going to see me do here is take everything out for my Tuesday pages, and I'm going to separate them into piles based on the order that they're going to go inside of my notebook. This is going to give me an opportunity to adhere down all of the different pieces onto the photos themselves before I add them into the notebook. I do this strategically because I want some of the elements, such as the staples that are going through to the backside, to be hidden within the notebook. So if I adhere everything down, whether it's with adhesive or staples now, and then later I add this into the book, you're not going to see anything on the backside of the photo. So it's just an easy way to go ahead and hide that portion of my attachers. This also is a great opportunity for me to, outside of the notebook, add in any of my embellishments as well. As I'm working through the pages or the different days of the week, I am also going to be doing the exact same treatments on the exact same pages. So you will always see that I will have a full page photo with a vellum heart and a tiny phrase sticker layered on top of that, paired with the 2 different cards and an additional 3x4 photo. So that's just something I'm going to repeat each and every time. This one, I am going ahead and removing off the plastic protective sheet. And then I'm also taking these little chipboard pieces and removing as much of the chipboard backing as I can. Because I'm working in a notebook, I want this to be really compact, to have the least amount of dimension possible while still having a tiny bit of dimension, if that makes sense. So I want there to be some variability, but I also want it to be flat enough that I'm not going to over bulk my notebook. Once I have most of the treatments done here, I still need to go and do the transparency, and we'll do that here in just a minute. I am going to add some double-sided adhesive to the back side of everything that's going to go into the notebook. So all of the photos, all of the cards, all of it. So that all I have to do once I'm ready to add this into the notebook is remove the backing and stick it in. It's much easier for me to do that in a streamlined type of process. For the first page that we're going to work on here, this one I used the 10x8 transparencies, cut them down. So I've got a 6x8, or I guess it's 6x8 1/4. And then I have a remaining piece that I've just stashed away to use in another project another time. That's roughly a 4x8 1/4. So that will fit real nicely into a 3x8 album or a 6x8 album if I choose. This portion does not have the holes on it, so I cut that part off. And I'm going to create a flip out on top of one of my full page photos. When selecting the full page photo for this particular page, I wanted to select ones that had a lot of color inside of them, and also where there was a good amount of space at the bottom, so I could add on the gold foil word or the gold foil, what is that, shortened abbreviation for the week, and one of these black plastic phrases, and not cover up really anything super duper important in the photo behind it. So that way, when you're looking through the transparency, you still see the most important parts of that picture. But then the beauty of this page is you can also just flip that transparency to the side and see the full page photo underneath. So as we're working through the different days in my week in the life, you will notice that that is going to be a pretty repetitive theme, that there's going to be a lot of color, and also generally my subjects are going to be farther away, so nothing too close, so that we can see the majority of the photo through the transparency. To attach it onto the photo, I used some washi tape, and it's a thicker washi tape. I believe it's 2 inches wide, or at least 1.5 inches wide. It is 1/2 inch on the transparency itself, and then I lined up the photo on top of the transparency and folded the washi tape down. That allows it to, again, be hidden once I add the photo into my notebook itself, the backside of that washi tape. And it's just a really easy way to add some flip outs into a book like this. Plus, washi tape is incredibly thin, so I don't have to worry again about bulking things up too much. The washi tape itself is one that I have from an older, I believe, travel collection. But one that had a lot of the colors in this kit, so it just worked out really nicely. As I'm working on adding everything into the notebook here, I will always start with the large plastic phrase. As I was figuring out my stories for the week, I used these large plastic phrases as journaling jumping off points. So each day has a different one that helped me to tell additional stories about our week or about our life right now. This one says work life, so I'm adding that into the top portion of my notebook, and I did go ahead and figure out how much space I was going to need for that title piece before I figured out how to put my journaling on this page. The journaling itself I divided into 4 different sections, and I'm going to use those little tiny circle chipboard pieces as bullet points that will go at the beginning of each section of journaling. I then used 2 sections to talk about work life for my husband, who mostly works from home right now, and just a little bit about his job, what he does, kind of a day-to-day sort of schedule for him. And then I used the second 2 spots to talk about my work life and what that looks like right now. So just a really fun way to add in some of those stories that are really quite important to our day-to-day or week-to-week life. Next, I am going to go back to the beginning and start adhering everything in. So the reason I go ahead and put the plastic phrase in there first is because I actually staple it onto the paper inside of the notebook. So then when I add the photo on the backside, you'll see here in a minute, it will cover up all of the backside of the staples. So just a good way to close everything in and make it nice and smooth. When I'm adding in my photos here, the first couple ones I forget what I'm doing, but eventually I will figure it out. And I generally just take off the backing on the side that's going to line up with the edge of the notebook. And then once I have that stuck down, I'll pull up the photo, remove the rest of the backing, and press the photo down. It makes things really easy. This photo right here where you see there are 10 different photos, the QR code, and that vellum heart with the abbreviated day of the week on it as well. Those are all photos that I chose last. So prior to picking the 10 photos that went there, I first set up which photos I wanted to be full page photos. The first one, I wanted one that was colorful with my subject kind of far away. The last one is going to pertain to whatever the prompt is. So work life this time is going to be actually a picture of me working. And then there's another page in here with a full page photo. And that one I used to create an enlargement of one of my favorite photos from the day and paired that with a 3x4 from the same sort of moment in time. Once I had those selected, I then came to this page, this What I Want to Remember page, and I selected 5 photos that had a little bit of story to tell about them that I would want to remember as the years go by. So the picture of Izzy and I on her bed getting her ready in the morning is just, I want to remember what it was like to help Izzy get ready for the day. There's a photo of Erin and one of our cats cuddling, and I want to remember how awesome it is that Erin is a cat person, that sort of stuff. So then once I had the 5 photos selected for that one, I then went through the rest of my photos for the day and picked out an additional 10 that I really wanted to put in this album or in this notebook. And that became the little collage of photos that you saw on the ING days. So then for the What I Want to Remember photos, those are stuck in the same collage, and that's going to look the same every single time. This one, I went ahead and added in the journaling card that says regular life stuff. That's just a filler card, just a break for the eyes. You can see the photo of the kids on the swing set next to that, which is what we did right after we got ice cream, which is what the large photo is this time. It's the kids and Erin standing in line to get ice cream at our local favorite spot. Oh, and here is where I remember to take off the backing in a more strategic way. So that is definitely how I recommend putting your photos or full page papers into these albums. Although I definitely want to mention that you want to make sure that the width that you cut your pages at are just slightly less than the width of the full page, and that way you won't have to worry about it going into the binding. I did put the 4x6 card in upside down and had to rearrange that. That always happens, and I almost put this photo in here upside down as well. This is the photo of me at my desk working, which is a perfect tie-in with the prompt of work life. And then all I have left to do is add in those chipboard pieces. When I'm working on this album, the dimensional stuff always gets added in last, just so I can make sure I've got enough room so I'm not bulking things up too much. All right, friends, let's go ahead and slow you back down. All right, friends, so that finishes up my Tuesday. So here's a quick last little flip through of the pages. So we've got the mind map and the hourly journaling. Then I've got my 3 gratitudes and my 3 feelings that go along with a full page photo of my daughter on the monkey bars. And then we've got the overlay of the Tuesdays with the gold foil and documenting it all. Next, I have the ing words, so the currentlys, and then a grid of photos, just not necessarily that related to the currently journaling, but more so were photos that I just wanted to make sure I had in here because I really loved them. We have that paired with the vellum heart here. Then I've got my 5 things I want to remember, or 5 moments I want to remember, and I just realized that is upside down. You know what? I'm not even going to care about it. Who cares? This is upside down, so my journaling is upside down, but it happens. So there is what I want to remember. Then I've got my 5 little bits of life from the week, and you saw me put that on upside down. That happens sometimes when you're working in a notebook like this. At least it happens for me because I was watching a YouTube video at the same time. So that's what I get from multitasking. So there's that one, paired with another full page photo that's got the vellum heart and the word phrase sticker. Then I've got one last spread here where I journaled 4 different things about work life right now, going one day at a time, and pairing this with another full page photo of me working at my desk. So that is Monday and Tuesday complete. I'm hoping to be back here on I'm hoping to be back here on Monday next week, working on Wednesday in this little notebook. So hopefully I'll see you back here then. In the meantime, you will see a Story Kit Crush video come up on Friday, so be sure to check that out if you're following along with that series as well. All right, friends, until next time, I hope you have a great week ahead, and I will catch you all in the next video. Bye, friends.